one and only Sayif Saud. He joins us right now via the magic of Zoom. There he is. Hello, sir. How are you?
Good. How are we doing?
Oh, you turned? Yeah, that's better. Oh, now I lost you. Well, there I am. The mirror of death, as they say in the business. We'll get back. Yeah, hi. How are you?
Good. We'll get him back.
It's very interesting when that happens, when someone drops off and then I show up.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, I look pretty good.
Let's not go that far.
All right. But no, his guy Uriah Hall had the win over Le'Veon Bell. We had Chris Avila over Dr. Mike. I got to say, Dr. Mike, I mean, the absolute mensch of all mention. This guy is so nice, so kind, always a smile on his face. Took a picture with my kids.
He's back.
It was just beautiful to see him. He fought his heart out. He didn't win the fight, but beautiful stuff. There he is. Safe's back. Hello, Saif. How are you?
Good. How are we doing, Ariel?
By the way, is it Sayif? Are people mispronouncing your name? No.
You said it right. It's safe. That's the correct pronunciation in Arabic. It means sword. So
look at
safe
you.
like safe. That's how you say it. Yeah, you got it. You should know that.
I just wanted to make sure because, people anglicize names and whatnot. So I just wanted to make sure. So I'm happy we cleared that up.
I'm not one of those guys.
I know. I should have known. Congrats on a big night. Had a win at the Apex, had a win in Glendale. Let's talk about Uriah Hall. Obviously, there was a lot of intrigue because he walked away. He comes back. He's fighting a NFL guy, ex-NFL guy, whatever. What do you think of his performance out there?
Look, I thought it was great. I mean, we only had probably about 5 weeks to get ready for that. He was going through some stuff and kind of came off the couch really to get ready. And I watched the tape on Le'Veon and I knew that he was a little bit tougher than people were kind of giving him credit for, but I thought once he got hit that he would kind of crumble, but he did not do that at all. And it went 4 rounds and it was a good fight. I was really happy to see Uriah come away and win in a different sport and just kind of, have fun again. So it was a great weekend. And Trayshawn Gore, like you mentioned, had a big win, his first UFC win. We really wanted to kind of help that kid and get him a win. So it was a good weekend.
By the way, how often, especially lately, since you've been so busy, has it been where someone who had, where you've had to choose, basically, right? Obviously, you've been with Uriah a lot longer than Trayshawn. As you mentioned, he just kind of came to you guys recently, but where you couldn't be at someone's fight and you had to choose. Does that happen often these days?
It does. I mean, the thing is, when someone does a camp with us, I always want to be there to corner them. It's kind of like trying to send one of your warriors off to war and saying, "Hey, good luck, buddy," and just pat them on the head. I mean, they earn that right, for you to be there with them in the trenches when they put in the work. So, we really we haven't added anybody to the team, really in a while. Kennedy asked me, Trayshawn came to him and said, "Hey, I really, would love to talk to your coach." He was a little bit nervous when I first met him. He was, I couldn't get the words out. And then he wrote me a really nice message and said, "I really, admire you. I want to train. I want to learn." And I said, "Okay, you can come." And, Kennedy and these guys and Kennedy's cousin gave him a place to stay. They took care of him. I mean, I will put that out there that I did not charge him a dime for this camp. I told him, "I don't want anything from you. I just want effort. I don't want any of your purse. I don't want any percentages. I just want you to give me everything that you have, and I want you to win." Because I knew that, man, to make it to the UFC, this is your dream. And getting the first UFC win is everything, right? I mean, from then on, it's okay, let me get ranked. But those are really far apart from each other. But getting that first UFC win, man, it stays with you forever. And, he had a couple losses and he had to win this fight. And it was just kind of a good deed that everyone from the camp just kind of rallied behind this kid and helped him and selflessly helped him. And I was just really happy to see that. I was in the locker room with Uriah screaming and yelling in the bathroom when I saw him lock that choke in. And I'm just happy for him. And, the UFC kind of picked up on how hard of a life he's had. And these moments mean a lot to these kids, man. It's a big damn deal. And I was just very proud to see it happen.
That is amazing. I was really curious to see how Uriah would be all week. And of course, on Saturday, obviously when I did the press conference with him, it was a little prickly at times. But I have to say, man, he was like one of the highlights of the week for me, starting with the face-to-face that we did. I don't know what changed. I'm sure you had a lot to do with it, but he was just in such a nice spot. Him and Le'Veon together were bonding over, one chapter of their lives coming to an end and coming together. It was just beautiful. And then his post-fight interview was beautiful. How would you describe where he's at now? Like now that this is over, because it seemed like a totally different guy than the one I spoke to 2 weeks ago.
The frustrating part for me is that he has such a beautiful side to his personality, and he's so intelligent. And I'm like, man, show everybody this side, and we all get hurt in life. We all get jaded. We all go through things. And, it's not easy. And Uriah touched on a lot of things this week. I thought he was fantastic. I thought he did a phenomenal job, communicating, and he's just so well-spoken, and at 38, you kind of have perspective, right? You're smarter than you were when you were 28. And, we talked about that. And I just think that it just really made me happy that everybody got to see that side of him, that lovable side. And, he engaged everybody, and it was just great. It was no matter what comes from it next, it was a great weekend for him. And I'm just happy that everybody saw kind of who he really is, because we know him in the media sometimes are
not the best of friends.
Yeah.
Do you want to see him continue to box?
I think Uriah with a camp, like a real camp, we had one guy that we helped him get ready with, Obi, who's one of my 85ers. And look, we're 2-0 in boxing right now. We've been fighting these running backs, 2-0 in boxing, and we're proud of that. Like, they say that we don't know about striking, and this isn't no slight on anyone else, but Frank Gore was training at the boxing gym that had Cambosa there. They had it was a legit boxing gym, and they underestimated Darren. And we were ready for that fight, and we study it. We study everything, and to think that we can't study boxing when we can study everything and win at it in MMA is a little silly, I think. So yeah, man, maybe we'll get a boxing ring and we'll start doing boxing fights too. But look, again, it requires the right amount of focus. Uriah won that fight because Le'Veon, where he was in his career in that fight. But to fight guys that box all the time, of course, you got to train harder and so on and so forth. We're not dismissing how hard it is, but I'm just saying we are capable as well. Even as an MMA gym, we are capable of not only competing, but winning.
Any difference for you as a coach, just working the corner, MMA versus boxing, or at the end of the day, once you get to that point, it's the exact same?
No, there's a difference. Judging has been a big controversy. Yeah. I mean, that's a whole different road, but in boxing, to say that judging isn't a controversy, then you don't watch boxing. Right. I mean, you got to go in there and know that you just don't know what the hell's going to happen. And that's kind of accepted. So you really got to put a stamp on it. I mean, and that's just part of it. You remember when I said, what do you think, Ariel? I said, you think we're good? You go, this is a fight game, man. Yeah. I don't know. When you had the mic, right? And I thought that, Uriah did enough, but then you see people, he lost 1 and 3 and this and that. Uriah landed some hard shots on Le'Veon. He just ate them so well. I don't think that certain people saw it, but I saw it. His eyes showed it after. And I thought Uriah won the fight handedly, honestly. But you never know. So you've got to change the way that you corner a little bit, and you've got to really express how important it is for guys to close. And I do that in MMA as well. I just think that, instead of worrying about what the judges do, worry about what you do and just do more. And so it is a little bit different, but the judges, I felt like, got it right. And
sure.
It was.
By the way, fan of open scoring or not? As someone who has to work these corners and try to figure out what the judges are thinking.
I think that open scoring at this point has a lot more positives than negatives. And, people can say whatever they want, but it's progressively seeming to get worse, right? It's not progressively seeming to get better. So if it was getting better, let me tell you something. Let me give Nevada State Athletic Commission a ton of credit here.
Okay.
I was part of a Zoom call about 2 or 3 months ago with Jeff Mullins is now the new commissioner. And this guy is fantastic. I mean, he reaches out, hey, let's talk, let's chat. I had a fight that I was like, I got scored kind of weird. He goes, let me watch the fight, watches the fight, then meets with me and says, hey, this is what I thought about X, Y, and Z on Monday.
Wow.
So, yeah. And what they did was they put together a panel. It was me, Eric Nixick, and John Wood. And it was all the judges. And I'm not going to say them all, but there were a lot of them. We did a Zoom call for like 2 hours and we went through tape and we watched videos and then we all scored the fights. And
Wow.
it was a damn good, it was. And it was a damn great step in the right direction. And it was a very productive phone call. And, you know, is it perfect? No, but it was a start. And I want to recognize Jeff and the Nevada State Athletic Commission for doing that. That being said, it was still pretty funky this weekend, and it's still pretty funky all the time. And, you know, us coaches, you know, Eric had some great questions and John as well. And we're not there yet, man. We're not. And, you know, when a loss, you know, and I'm not going to get into Roundtree, Jacoby, and this, that, and the other, but when a loss changes your trajectory of somebody's whole career, Jacoby was on a 7 or 8 fight streak, you know, and now, and he was a ranked fighter. So now his whole trajectory changes. And you know, and obviously we as fighters, God bless Khalil. I'm glad he got a win bonus. We never want to see somebody not win, but we do want to kind of have a pretty good idea when we're watching a fight, where are we at in this fight? So to your point, if open scoring would dictate that and we're going in a fight, Dustin Jacoby goes in that 3rd round and goes, what the hell? I thought it was up, but I'm not. And he presses on the gas. Why don't we talk about that being just as important as people laying off the gas, right? And, you know, maybe they could do something where if you know, you get in an activity or something. I don't know, but I would say that there's definitely many more positives for open scoring than there are negatives. And I think that trend is continuing. So I don't know why it's such a big deal. And everyone points to, well, the person's going to do absolutely nothing. Well, then the whole world's going to watch a person be a coward and do nothing in the 3rd round. Like, I don't think fighters really think that way, right? Like, and I think if a fighter thinks he's up anyway, he's going to be a little bit more careful in spots anyway. So I think that, you know, you could look at it both ways. But again, I feel like we are still not in a place where we feel like we're trending upward, even though the effort is there. I need to say that.
Okay. Very interesting. Speaking of corner work, I love listening to you in the corner when we can. I'm curious about the psychology of dealing with different personalities, right? And how you approach that. Is it all spur of the moment? Is it all like, I need to, you know, give this guy a little bit of a light under his butt. I need to do this. Certain guys don't respond to tough love. Certain guys do. Is it just based on personalities, or do you have a certain set, you know, kind of, you know, approach to how to deal with it? Because you only get a minute. I mean, it's so fast, but it could be effective when you use.
60 seconds, 60 important seconds. The reality is I've been with my fighters so long. We have been through so much together, so many wars, so many trips to the hospital, so many crazy moments. I mean, we're close, man. We're really, really close. Me and all my athletes are very close. That's why I don't corner people that I just work with a guy this one time and I'm doing this. I don't do that because I can sit and look someone in the face and just tell them the damn truth. And I think, you know, I got a lot of love for the MMA fans in the media because they give me tons of love. But I always say, you're giving me love for just telling the truth, which I appreciate. But I've never understood the like, hey, you're doing great. Hey, things are really working out. Hell no, they're not working out. You're down 2 rounds. And if you don't do something amazing, you're about to lose. And a loss in MMA is catastrophic. Let's just be honest. So I'm just very honest in the moment. I analyze what's going on. I see where does the fighter need to improve? What do we need to do to win? And that's all that matters. And that's really all I try to do is communicate the truth, Ariel. And I think it comes across sometimes, you know, in a way that people make these clips and stuff and they tag me, which, you know, I've never once reposted that. And I will touch on that. I will never, ever make it about me, right? Why would I post my fighter fucking struggling and then me yelling at him and then him coming back and winning? Like, that's my damn job. I don't need to highlight me. Let's highlight him winning. How about that? And lastly, I'll say, I always tell my guys, you know, the best days are when I don't have to say a damn word and I can just come out there and take the picture and we win, right? I mean, I don't need to say anything. There's times where I'm just like, Jeff Neal, Vicente Luque, 3rd round. I mean, I got on his ass before that, but during the 3rd round, I didn't have to say a whole lot of anything because he was like, okay, all right then. Like, these guys are amazing. You know, these fighters are amazing. And we've been together so long. I know when to just sit back and let them roll. And I know when they really need me. And I just act accordingly.
Back to Uriah. Can he beat Jake Paul?
He could, but he would have to train. And I told him that, you know, and I think Jake, you've got to recognize facts. And Jake, look, I thought Anderson did fantastic. I thought Anderson's something else. I mean, he's a special guy, and he went in there and touched Jake. That uppercut with Jake falling back, and the ring generalship. Anderson was on him, but after the fourth round, Anderson got a little tired. I mean, he is 48 years old, 47 years old, and I thought that Jake stepped his game up then in the later rounds, and obviously he got the knockdown. But even before that, Jake's in shape. He's a young kid who goes to the gym and busts his ass. He's obviously doing the work. And again, say what you want, he's still fighting guys that, yeah, I know he's old, but look at boxers' records in the beginning of their careers. They don't take on challenges. They get built up. That's the way boxing is. That's why you always see these guys avoiding each other when they're 40-0 and 38-0, because that's the way it is. They avoid each other because they realize that a loss changes the whole, course of their careers. So they definitely don't take fights like we do in MMA at 3-0. A loss in MMA is a little bit different, right? Guys kind of understand now, okay, for example, Alex Pereira, he lost his first MMA fight. Everyone kind of understands, okay, he's figuring it out. Kamaru Usman lost a fight in the very beginning. Nobody says, oh yeah, he sucks.
Right.
But in boxing, it kind of changes things. So I think we've got to recognize that Jake is there are challenges for him. It's a step up for him, and that's what's important, right? That needs to be recognized. And I think that he, I think that he's getting tougher. I think he's a kid that's getting tougher. I understand people saying he's not good and he's got a lot of holes. I get boxers saying that too. So there's two sides to every coin there, but I do think he's in shape. I think Uriah's 38. I think he's 25 or 26. I think he's training his ass off, and I think he's got momentum. And I think you've got to recognize those things, and you've got to take Le'Veon. You had to take seriously. Nobody's a joke here. Just because everyone watches it on the internet and says, "Oh, he's going to kill him." What the hell do you know? Have you ever done it? Have you ever done 3 rounds? Like it doesn't matter what you think, man. Like, I don't go to your job and tell you, like, no, you know what, you're doing this wrong. You got to understand that. Like, I could, if I came in the studio, and I know a lot about MMA, and I was like, Ariel, just let me run shit today, right? Let me have it. Like, I got it, Ariel. I know all these people. I see them every weekend. Just let me handle it. You'd be like, Sayif, I really think we should do a couple practice rounds first. I'd be like, Ariel, just fucking go on vacation. Just give it to me, right? How much of a disaster would that be, right? I mean, hell, this Zoom call got dropped once already from somebody calling me. Experience matters, man. And I think that we just got to look at everything kind of with a truthful eye. Let's just be honest. Let's not always look to put everybody down. He sucks, that sucks. Let's just celebrate things for what they are and move on. So
well said, well put. And by the way, I do think you're coming for my job. I see you now doing these breakdowns, and you're doing a great job with them. Is this the beginning of a new career for you? I want to see you on the broadcast between rounds now. Enough of these other jamokes. I want to see you up there.
So much credit to Ben Chiliberti, the UFC. He's an executive producer. He reached out to me, and nobody knows these guys, right? These are the guys behind the scenes that nobody knows, but they make these things happen. And he goes, hey, I think that you'd be really good at this. And why don't you try it? And, I was telling my wife, I was like, I got so much stuff going on. I'm cornering everybody every week. I was like, this is going to be an undertaking, because if I do it, I'm going to study tape. And I did the first one and got such a good reception and so much love and appreciation. And people were like, that really helped me understand MMA. They're like, man, you got to do it again. So then they asked me to do the next main event, and with Makachev and Charles. And I said, okay, I'm going to do that one. And I'm actually flying out tomorrow to do the Izzy and Alex. So the truth is that we study film vigorously, and this is what we do. And every time we have a fight, we break down this tape and we go over every little thing. And it's been fun to do that for athletes that are not my own. I have a new appreciation for each one of the champions. I think that it's all those little details, man, that people don't see that they are doing. And I think that, it's been fantastic. And, we'll see. I don't know about commentating. I think that I'm a coach, man. That's what I do. So breakdown kind of makes sense for me because I'm still kind of coaching or explaining, but talking about, other people that are not my own. Like, I've got 21 fighters right now, competing. And, we've got Jeff at number 6. We got Ryan Spann about to fight Dominic Reyes in Madison Square Garden. We've got Schnell off that huge win that he had against Sumadarji, fight Nicolau after that. And Kennedy's coming now, starting to surge. I think he's going to be something, and I could go on and on. So my dedication and focus is to my fighters. And I think that the Breakdown Show has made me a better coach because I've had to focus even more. And for that, I can file it under that it makes me better at my job. So I will do it. But anything that takes away from my athletes or my time or my focus and my dedication of what we started, 10 years ago, I've got to really analyze. So I think you're going to be staying in that chair for a long time.
Well, you do a great job with it, honestly. And I hope I'm not oversharing, but I was at breakfast with my family and I saw you there the first day that we were there, Thursday morning. And we were talking about it, and you showed me the notes that you put together for these. And I was blown away by how detailed it was and how you have to remember all of it. There's no prompter or anything like that. So you're really taking this seriously. Says a lot about your preparation, the way you attack things. Obviously, you do the same when it comes to fighting. But that was like 8 pages or something of detailed notes.
14.
14? Jeez,
pages.
Louise, I don't want to sell you short. 14 pages of detailed notes on this show. Unbelievable. By the way, not to, tell them about Walter's right hand. I mean, you felt my 8-year-old son's right hand. I mean,
we got to talk about this stuff.
Tell them.
So
tell
them. Dad's over. Usually they oversell. This kid, he's this kid, he's that. Let's just talk about beautiful family. Ariel's got a beautiful family.
Thank you.
And, we know your daughter's the dominator. She was kind of dictating the pace.
She was.
Me as a man with 2 daughters, completely understand that. And daughters rule the roost, and I get that. But you got 2 sons and well-mannered boys, nice and quiet, right? They had the Bills paraphernalia going. I mean, they're definitely well-rooted in the hell-wanting traditions. But your son, unprompted, unscripted, you were like, yeah. And I mean, you just were like, hey man, this kid got a good right hand, but this kid he's got a Deontay Wilder right hand. I mean, let me tell you something now. All right. You can laugh. And I'm not telling you this to make you feel good about yourself. Cause I don't know. Maybe he got it from his mom, Ariel. Maybe it's
very
not
good
from
chance.
you.
Very good chance.
So, but this kid, I mean, he popped the jab, but then the 2, he just sat down on it. And then remember, I mean, the knuckles were getting closer and closer to my face. And you were like, whoa, slow down. You're like, slow down, man. Don't hit him. And you never know. It's always the quiet ones.
Yeah.
Right. It's always the quiet ones. But the kid has a heavy too. And I told you, look, I love training kids. And, my daughters themselves, they take class at the gym. And it's just pure, man. Everybody should know how to fight so they feel good about who they are. They feel they can protect themselves. And nobody should ever feel like, they can't stand up for themselves or that they're weak or that they'll be bullied. And it doesn't matter how quiet someone is or how shy they are, knowing that knowledge. And that's a big thing, what we do at the gym, right? We've got a lot of fighters. We have so many other people that don't fight professionally, but we give them that knowledge and that confidence. And we build that just that feeling inside them that they're in control, that they are powerful. And martial arts is amazing, man. And you see this a lot in jiu-jitsu, and no punches are even being thrown, right? It changes people's lives. And I think that it empowers people. And you could see him, right? I mean, he was smiling. Was he practicing after that?
Afterwards, I was holding up my hands, and I actually felt like he was hitting me harder. And I was like, why didn't you show him this? I felt like you were holding back. He's like, I didn't want to. I was like, no, you gave him 50%. But yeah, it was great, man. I really, really appreciate it. You, I could tell you brightened his day. It was really, really nice. It was one of the highlights of the trip to see you on the first morning there, hang out with you for a bit, eat a bit, and introduce you to my family. So thank you for that. Thank you. You were really kind to them. And congrats to you and the team on an incredible weekend. And I'm curious to see where this boxing thing goes for you guys. Like you said, you're 2-0 now, so why not keep it going? Appreciate it.
You never know what's going to happen. So, but again, it will require a lot of work. So nothing is easy, and all of it requires a lot of work, in boxing too. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, it's no problem. No, it requires a ton of work as well. So
good luck in November. Big fights for you. Can't wait for them. Thanks for the time, my man.
Thank you very much, man. Good to see you. Thanks.
There he is, Sayif Saud, the head man over at Fortis MMA.